Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. Every American should buy these bullion coins. Let's explore! I'm going to make a pretty bold statement here, as you can tell by the title of this video, that every American should buy these bullion coins. Now, I'm not saying they should buy every single one of them, but at least an example of what it means to be an American and what America is about, or at least what it is about in our Constitution. That's right. This channel, though dedicated to the idea of accumulating gold and silver and other precious metals to preserve your wealth, I think it also speaks to what it means to be an American specifically. This is a message for potentially all Americans out there, even for those who may not be familiar with gold and silver and, yes, platinum, maybe even palladium products. The United States Mint has been producing these coins since 1986 for the gold and silver eagles that you see right here. And then the gold buffalo they started producing in 2006. And then in platinum, they started producing the platinum eagle in 1997. So there is a robust program of precious metal products that have been created. Now, the United States Mint has also created a palladium product known as the Palladium Eagle in limited quantity starting in 2017, the only year that it was issued in bullion form, but mostly you can buy them as collectibles on the Mint's website. And that's a little bit unattainable considering where palladium's price is right now, and that's why you are not seeing that particular coin in the view before you here. But these other coins, let's talk a little bit about them and why I believe it is incumbent on every American to own at least an example of Americana in this form. Every year, the United States Mint produces these coins en masse to meet demand by law in the United States of America. And so, those who accumulate precious metals as a way to protect themselves from an economic calamity or instability, which we have seen several times since the inception of the program that began in 1986 for the Eagles. And we will see more. In fact, you may have stumbled across this video. Maybe you're concerned a little bit about the economy, and rightfully so. No matter who is elected president or whoever is president at the time of watching this video, we are growing our debt at an astounding rate because of deficit spending. And so therefore, the value of our dollar is losing by a measure of 2% each year. That's a target from the Federal Reserve, which is the private bank that is sanctioned by the U.S. government to handle currency distribution and printing of money throughout the United States. The money that is known as our dollar is essentially a Federal Reserve note, as stated here at the top. And this is a note that is a debt instrument. That's right. This note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. It is a United States note, and you can see here, there's a lot of Americana on this particular bill. We've all seen it. George Washington, the very first president of the United States. There's other symbolism on the back of this bill, which includes the eagle and includes the all-seeing eye. In fact, we see here there's inscriptions on this particular note that make a lot of people wonder what's going on behind the scenes, especially when you have a phrase in Latin, New World Order there. But make no mistake, when you look beyond some of the conspiratorial aspects of the symbolism on this note, you know, there is great national pride, and there's nothing wrong with having national pride when it comes to the symbols and what the ideas of America were founded. Many other nations around the world, I believe, find inspiration in those mottos and ideals That's why we mostly around the world celebrate the democratic process. But in the Constitution, in Article 1, Section 10, it says that gold and silver should be money between the states. That's a paraphrase, but essentially it is recognizing these metals as being money. And in fact, they are on a different level these days. In fact, gold is utilized and recognized by the central bank of central banks as the top asset for transactions between nations. And many central banks around the world accumulate gold. And the United States is the top dog in accumulating gold at Fort Knox and way below ground in New York City at the Federal Reserve and other places around the United States. Silver has been utilized as a currency for transactions for millennia. And in fact, this quarter here, which you may recognize, not too long ago, this large report of George Washington graced our coinage. But before 1965, our coins were made of silver, and they were used for everyday transactions. But not anymore. Our currency has been debased, and what's left now by the government of the United States issued are these coins produced every single year. And why should every American hold these? Well, if you are not quite understanding or really see the value of holding precious metals, I believe it's a great memento and recognition of the country that you reside. And I believe that holding at least the Silver Eagle, which is going to be your least expensive option here, is one way to be able to just represent and have a sort of a souvenir, if you will, of what it means to be an American. The American Silver Eagle is a wonderful coin, and it is relatively inexpensive when it's all said and done. And whether you like it or not, or understand it or not, it is essentially preserving your wealth and independent of the fiat currency system. Fiat meaning that by government decree, the dollar, that very note that I showed you before with the number 1 on it, is recognized by the faith and full faith and credit of the United States government. Well, the full faith and credit of the United States government is also extends to these coins that they mint each year. And this coin here has a denomination of $1 on it. In fact, I will show you the reverse of what that coin looks like so that you can see the denomination on the coin. There it is, $1. Now, that dollar designation is just a placeholder. It is to let you know that it is denominated. In other words, it is a coin, and it is backed by the currency of the United States. But it is obviously worth a whole lot more than that. In fact, this coin here can be had for purchasing for about $30. And that price fluctuates with the price of silver, and the premiums fluctuate as well based off the demand of the coin. But it is the least expensive way to be able to hold a representation of the United States in a precious metals form. The United States Silver Eagle. Now, the gold eagle and the gold buffalo are obviously a lot more expensive. Gold is going for quite a lot of money these days, over $1,900 as of the recording of this video. The buffalo is as well. There are two different options. The gold buffalo itself is made up of 4 nines fine gold. That is the purest gold distributed in bullion form on a massive level or unlimited level that you can get these days. In other words, there's higher purity gold that you can buy, but they're relatively limited in mintage. But this is a high purity gold coin at 4 nines fine. $50 is a denomination on this coin, which is higher, higher than the gold coins of the past for sure. But there is that. And then for the gold eagle, this is not noted as far as the fineness on this particular coin, but it is 0.91 fine, 9167 fine, 22 karat gold. it has a measure of copper and silver in it to essentially strengthen it for handling. But both coins are beautiful and represent the ideals and expressions of what it means to be an American. And these particular designs and the obverse of these coins are designs that were used in our previous coins that we used in circulation. In fact, I'm going to show you the coin that was used in circulation for the $half here. This coin is dated 1940 and has that same design on it. And so this is a beautiful rendition of that design, the Walking Liberty, designed by Adolf Weinman. And on the reverse, we have a different eagle. In fact, there's variation of this eagle that is on the Palladium coin right now. But it is an example of a coin that was used for circulation and has now been immortalized on the American silver eagle that you see before you here. Now, the other reason to accumulate these coins is to not only as a representation of what the ideals of America, but also it is a way to protect yourself against economic instability and against an ever-decreasing and devaluing dollar. In due course, by design, the dollar has lost well over 95% of its value since the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. In other words, our present state of a currency, essentially, and how the dollar has been designed since 1913, the dollar has devalued by that much. These particular coins, the precious metals contained therein, have by all intents and purposes have maintained their value because of the precious metals contained therein. And but they also have that unique recognizability of being an American coin and being able to be sold pretty much anywhere that sells precious metals, or anybody who recognizes precious metals as a store of value. And that is key and important when you consider accumulating. And you may want to consider accumulating more than these to protect yourself from this economic instability. There are other recognized bullion coins out there, for sure, by major governments around the world. And I would certainly encourage those folks to look at those as well. But if you're an American, I believe that these coins should be the foundation of a stack, an accumulation of precious metals to protect yourself and to preserve your wealth, as well as for other reasons. The best other reason to consider accumulating American bullion coins will be for tax purposes. When you go to buy these coins, you will have to pay taxes if it's below a certain amount based off of your state laws. But when you go to sell, they are exempt from taxation pretty much in any quantity, which is definitely a good reason to sell for capital gains that you may maintain if you were to sell these particular coins because of the rising cost and prices of precious metals. And we've been seeing that as of late. So things to consider, and I hope that anybody who watches this video, and I pray that it is shared far and wide, because I think it is important to get people who don't normally accumulate these metals to consider, especially if you're an American, essentially as a patriotic duty in a sense, because it harkens back to the foundations of this country. If you're watching this from another nation, I hope you will also consider the American Eagle Bullion Program as a portfolio for part of your stack out there, or just for curiosity's sake to see how American coins are produced. They're recognized worldwide. The American Silver Eagle is the most widely distributed, most recognized bullion coin in the entire world. And so it's fascinating indeed. Beautiful coins from the United States Mint, who produces them. And for those of us who accumulate them, we certainly enjoy them. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.